All right, blissful parents. Hello, hello. Michelle Abraham,
Hey.
your host here. Today, I'm bringing you a special guest. I have Janet Allison. Hi, Janet. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm great. Great to be here.
Good. Well, I'm so excited you're here. Janet, let me tell you guys about Janet. She's got some really cool things going on. Janet is the host of the podcast called On Boys Podcast. And she is going to teach us today or talk to us all about raising our sons and what our goal is to raise them to be the most caring men, right? So how can we raise our kids today, our boys today, and what are all the nuances of raising boys? There's a lot. I have one myself. And let me tell you a little bit more about Janet. So she's the founder of Boys Alive. And like I said, she's the co-host of the popular On Boys Parenting podcast, which has like incredible amount, almost 200 episodes out there. And she's a speaker, author, educator, family coach, and featured on-air parenting expert. So she's been helping parents and teachers, care providers understand the boys in their care for over 25 years. She's dynamic, inclusive, and inspiring. So blending real life stories with scientific research to do so the audience can motivate to take on the critical task of raising confident, capable, caring men. So I love what you're up to, Janet. I think this is so cool. We have a lot of things helping girls and supporting girls out there. It's so great to see something that's helping us support raising our amazing boys too. So thanks for being with us today.
So happy to be here. And I always have to say, first off, I raised daughters. I did not raise sons. So that's always kind of a surprise to people. But I was a teacher and I had many, many boys in my class and realized that, as you said, so much is being done for girls and we are missing the boat. And this was 25 years ago, missing the boat. We're still missing the boat with our boys.
Yeah, well, I love
Yeah.
that you've taken this on as a mission for helping us raise great boys. So awesome. And that's great. So were you an elementary school teacher?
I have my degree in elementary ed, but I was actually a Waldorf teacher.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I had my first grade was 10 boys and 2
Oh
girls.
my gosh.
And those boys, I mean, my hats are off to them. They're grown adults now, but they taught me so much. And mostly what they taught me is I had no clue about these dear sweet boys and what they needed. And I think part of it is, especially, I mean, moms raising sons, but also so many of our teachers in the early grades are female women. And we, of course, approach kids and humans as from our lens of being female. And that is, we love to talk and we love to talk about emotions and process. And that is not where our boys are coming from at all. So it's really a necessity to open our lens, open the aperture, and realize that boys approach the world so differently. And you've been parenting one for 9 years.
I
They're
have.
completely different. He's completely different than your daughter. I mean, not in every way, but there are some essential differences that I'm happy to share with your
Yes, please do,
people
because I
today.
know I'm curious to find out. I was looking forward to this interview for my own reasons, guys. Sorry about
So
you all out there, but this is about me today.
sweet.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. But I think what you're saying is exactly right. There's just so much information, and being a young girl myself, not a young boy, I don't know. I'm not really sure what there's going on in their heads sometimes. So
Right. Yeah. And the thing I will say too at the outset is that this isn't just for your boys.
Mhm.
This is about communicating with men. And it might not be men. It might be a woman that's more male brain based than female. And so what I really look at it as is just simply understanding another person, understanding someone that maybe doesn't have your same approach to the world. And so it opens up just the ability to connect and communicate in a whole new way.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Very cool. And I see your co-host on your podcast has 4 boys. So,
she does.
so you guys must come at with lots of knowledge of working with boys and being with boys. So that's so Awesome. So
Yeah.
where should we start off today? What's some of the top things that we should know about raising our boys as we're navigating this tricky thing called parenting?
Yes. I am going to give you some simple tips that you're going to be like, what? That's so easy. I can do that.
Good,
So
like those kind.
yes, right. You can, write it on a Post-it and then you'll be fine. The first thing we have to understand about our boys is that they are designed to move their bodies. They need to move. And when they're moving their bodies, their brain is also working. If we ask them to sit still, their brain goes into a rest state. So imagine that little kindergarten boy that is just so in his body and needs to move so much. And the teacher says, sit still, listen, and learn. Well, number one, he can't sit still. And if he's sitting still, he can't listen. And therefore, he can't learn. So our boys need to move their bodies. And of course, school is mostly designed. And in fact, if you've heard of Raising Cain, Dr. Michael Thompson, it was a movie and a book quite a few years ago, but he said that in school, girl behavior is the gold standard and boys are treated like defective girls.
Interesting.
So, and I really think boy moms need to be, you are the primary advocate for your boys. You have to know what's going on in school. You have to set him up for success by making sure, especially the younger he is, that he moves his body before he even walks in the school door.
It's interesting. My son is pretty successful at school so far into grade 4, and like things are going really well. But he takes the bus from our house, and it gets him to school. Like it's a school bus. The school bus arrives almost an hour before school. He runs and plays hard during that hour. And if he doesn't take the bus, I offer to drive him all the time. He's like, no, I'm taking the bus. He loves that hour before class. And it wasn't until you just said that, I was like, oh, that's why I think things are going well, because he's doing the running around before school.
Yes. And then
with his Fitbit 15,000 steps later.
Right. So that's perfect. That is setting him up for success. That is so great. So you have to know how much movement your boy is getting at school, and recognizing that female teachers don't really do this naturally. So you've got to know, is there alternative seating in the classroom? Does he have to sit in a chair? That actually hurts their bodies, not to mention that they can't sit still that long. You have to go to grandma's house and sit for dinner. Make sure you stop at the park before you get there. Set him up for success. This is, into the school year. So now I'm hearing from my family coaching clients and from people who are like, what, I'm getting calls from the teacher. What do I do? And one family I just helped sort out, the boy couldn't keep his hands to himself. He's 5.5. Come on. And then when we started parsing it out, it's like he's required to, be at his desk and not have any movement. So you just, as boy moms, you need to advocate and know that your boy's getting movement and make sure he does get movement. So that's really the top key. Everything goes through his body. That is how he learns. That is how he processes information. That is, how he releases his anxiety, how he shows, his joy. It's all there in his body. So we want to make the environment okay for him to express that, instead of making him feel bad, feel wrong. So it's definitely a mind shift for us as women, I think.
Yeah. And another critical point, I think, in the day is like, just as dinner is being prepared, that maybe that would be a good time to go for a little run outside, or go jump on the trampoline for 10 minutes and come back to dinner, so that we can sit still at dinner.
Yeah. And you have to just adjust your expectations too about how he can sit still or not. If you want him to sit still at dinner, you better make him move first. So
awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the first key. of what to do with your boy.
Movement. Okay.
Movement.
So what's the second key?
Oh man, this is very much about us as women, because we love to talk. We just love to talk so much and ask questions. And I think as parents, we totally are constantly directing, do this, then do this, then do this. It's very transactional kind of conversation. So the thing is, for women, you need to talk in bullet points with your boy. Talk in bullet points. Take all that other stuff, save it for your girlfriends, all the emotions and all the details, and just stop talking. Use fewer words, and you're going to get better results from your boy, because he can
need to know the whole story about how I'm feeling. What are you talking about?
Right? Yeah, no. So you want to, I mean, I think just, you have to try it with your own child. Oftentimes getting out of the house in the morning becomes this constant narration, and get your backpack and do your lunch and all of that. And if you can just say backpack or shoes, and let there be a pause, I think you're going to get better results from your boy. And he's going to be happier, and the meltdowns are going to be fewer. That's super, super important. So
awesome. And our house, we have to get on a boat. So there's a whole bunch of extra things like life jacket, backpack, out the door, get in the boat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going to be great. I love that. I love the idea of short, concise. It also makes it a little bit easier on my brain. That sounds like a good plan to me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And older boys are able to tell you, Mom, just tell me the one thing you want me to know. I don't need all the details. And so that's just a big heads up and the other thing is, check in with your men, check in with the dads, and ask them, and also notice how they talk to their boys. Right. Way less detail, way less emotion. And that's how he can better receive it.
That's great. I noticed that with clean your room. It seems to be a very, very, very clear statement. So
well, it's too big.
It down in those bullet points.
Right.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. Pick up the red Legos. Now pick up the blue ones. The other thing, this is a little bit on the funny side, but it's so true. I've done it myself. I've been accused of doing it, is that we as women ask a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. So we might ask a question and we might get an answer kind of short, and it's not the answer we're necessarily looking for. So we ask another question to elicit more. We want more. We want more. And, I've had so many men just be like, I answered the question. That's all I got. Yeah. And so we need to really be aware of that as women. Are we constantly questioning? Mm-hmm. Or can we ask a question and then pause and embrace the silence?
Be okay with the answer.
And be okay with the answer. And that other, so silence is another really super important thing to develop with your boy. And to be okay to embrace companionable silence. Doing things together side by side. You don't have to be talking the whole time. In fact, if you're not, he might start talking a little bit more. I've had a couple moms tell me, my son, this is more like tween teen age boys, get in a car after school. They got their hoodie up, they got their mask on, they're just like, ugh. And of course, what do we say when they get in the car? Oh my gosh. Greet them, say hello, give them a snack, and then stop talking. And just let there be this. And one mom was like, I'm just seething. I just want him to talk to me when we're on the way home. And it makes me so mad that he won't. And I said, well, what if you could just be in sending him little love vibes and little arrows of golden light, however you want to do that, so that you're energetically connecting, but you're not saying anything. And she's like, okay, I'll try it. And she did. And that's that companionable silence of just being together. And the results were amazing, because by the time he got home, then he was ready to talk. But his brain was totally overwhelmed with all the things of the school day. And he just needed that space to just, and to be able to do it with a mom who is happy in the car, not taking things personally that he won't talk to her. Big difference. Big difference. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Do we have time for one more?
Talk then.
Right? Yeah. Do we have time for one more?
Absolutely. Let's do one more.
Oh, this is such a good one.
These are great.
This is such a good one. So as women, we love eye contact. We get a hit of oxytocin when we make eye contact. It feels so good to us. But you ask the boys and men in your life, and they will likely say, yeah, not so much.
Like, what? Okay, I'm talking.
Yeah, exactly. Not so much. So we have to adjust and be okay without eye contact and know that he's still listening. But I think we have been taught, and this to me is the funniest thing. We say to our kids, look at me when I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, looking, like we think they're going to hear us better if they're looking at us, right? But a dad told me once, and I've loved this so much. He said, I tell my wife, if she wants me to look at her, I can look at her, but I won't be able to hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
Or if she wants me to hear what she's saying, I can't look at her. So I tell her to choose one channel.
That's
and there you go.
I love
it. So that is, and so what can take the place of that is doing things side by side. And remember the first thing I said was being physical. So if you're walking or washing dishes or playing with Legos or sitting on the couch side by side, he can even be crumbling up paper or doodling or something, takes the pressure off of the eye contact. And oh my gosh, then suddenly conversation can flow and you're connected, and you're not sitting there again seething because he's not looking at you, and you're not taking it personally.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. Those are great tips. Thank you so much, Janet.
Aren't they? And they're so easy.
So easy. I know, like you just write those down, and they're checked in my mind. And oh my God, I'm gonna.
Except for the fewer words. That one is not always easy, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, I think that's a good one to practice too.
Definitely.
Those are really awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do with families and how people can work with you?
Absolutely. I am a family coach. I have been working with parents for 20 years now. We meet on Zoom and we do our thing. And, it's all about, I think we set out with this ideal of how we want our families to be. And then life kind of happens and it's like, wait a minute, this is not what I expected. So I am very much about getting you realigned, new strategies, understanding how boys communicate, understanding boy development, which is different than, it's the same, but different than girls. So I love that work. I also host moms groups, which we're currently into a 6-month cycle of moms groups, but every 6 months I open up new groups. And those are just super way to get really, really, just a feel of community and kindred spirit support.
That camaraderie, I'm sure, is great.
Yeah. But if your listeners go to boysalive.com, they can opt in for a free guide that is called Your Boy and Big Emotions and Common Mistakes That We Make as Parents. Because we know boys have big emotions, and that's a whole nother topic. Maybe we can talk about that.
I thought that was an individual thing. So, but I'm starting to learn it's just a boy thing.
And think about like they're physical. So if they're angry, it's going to be big and loud and noisy, and as women, that can be overwhelming, intimidating. The bigger your boy gets, it gets scarier. So part of the keys that I've given you today are the beginning of being able to connect and deepen your trust and relationship so that he can feel held in those big emotions.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
So great. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Janet,
You're
for
so
joining us
welcome.
today. It's been awesome. Blissful parents out there, go to boysalive.com. Go also listen to Janet's podcast. It's awesome. Janet, where can we find your podcast?
Oh, you can find On Boys at any place you find your favorite podcasts. It's
Perfect.
out there everywhere, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or you can go to onboyspodcast.com and you'll see all the archive of episodes. I mean, we have talked to some amazing experts from around the world. So it's good stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. So for all of our blissful parents out there with boys, and the founder of Blissful Parenting has 3 boys himself and 1 girl. And so this has really been awesome to learn a little bit more about our boys, especially, as moms, for the moms out there that maybe didn't grow up as little boys, kind of getting a glimpse into their heads. Been really great. So thank you so much, Janet, for joining us today. Make sure you guys go check out boysalive.com and the On Boys podcast with Janet and her co-hosts. Any last words for our parents out there, Janet, today?
Oh give yourselves grace. Give yourselves grace. No one has ever parented in these times. And, we just all need to take a pause and just look into your boy's eyes and just send him some super love.
Awesome. But don't expect him to look at you back.
Well, true. Thanks for catching me on that one. See, it's so ingrained in us.
It is good to look into his eyes. Just don't expect him to look at yours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm learning.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
All right,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Take care. Have a great day, blissful parents out there. We'll see you again next week. Take care.